So the recording room is being used right now. Normally I would record this video with a green screen, but they're using it right now. But I can't. So yeah, this story is about me going to the fucking hospital. Basically, this all starts out in the morning where it was normal day. Average week starts the same and everything. And yeah, I was but the thing is I didn't take my pills yesterday at the time of this recording. I didn't take my pills because I had to take ADHD medication, and so I had to take those medications. And I told me, hey, take these. These are also for your anxiety and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I took them. Alright. And then fast forward like an hour later, I'm at the school, right? I'm like, alright, okay. So I get a soda and I buy it, and then I go up to the Mr. Lada's room. He's a networking teacher. I go up there and I start playing around with the computer we have there. That I didn't mention this, but it's like an shitty HP computer that burned its own ports. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But so I started feeling sleepy, and then I'm like, God, did I not sleep yesterday? Because prior to that, I had a little trouble sleeping, and so I was like, it's probably nothing, right? But I go up the stairs, go to class. And so I don't feel so good. I kept trying to fall asleep, and my speech was like kind of slurry. Well, it wasn't slurry at that point, but I'm like, I just need to fucking wake up. So I asked him this, hey, can I go can I go to the bathroom to put some water in my face? She's like, okay, yeah. I did that. Next thing you know, I'm like, whew! I'm like, okay, I'm awake. And then I go back to class, and my head is drooping again. I'm like, I started thinking about life, and I'm like, wait, I'm falling asleep again, shit. And then I'm like, I don't feel so good. I'm gonna put like a little filter, like, I don't feel so good. And then later I'm like, okay. And I told them, Miss, can I go to the nurse? I don't feel so good. She's like, yeah, go ahead, go to the nurse. And so, as drowsy as I was, and I felt like fainting, I felt really pale. How the fuck do you describe pale? And the way you describe it is that you feel really dizzy, drowsy, like you're gonna faint and stuff like that. So I went down the stairs. Had I been a bit more drowsier, I would have actually fallen and probably snapped my neck. But thank God that didn't happen. So I went down the stairs, went to the nurse. I'm like, Miss, I don't feel so good. And they said, can you talk? Because I was like speaking like, Miss, I don't feel so good, like with the slur, like if I was drunk or something. And they asked me, did you take any drugs, weed? I'm like, nah, I don't do that. I don't do that shit. And so they laid me down on a bed with my legs up, so they can get my blood flowing from the bottom to the rest of my body. And so they're like, okay, yeah, we can't take care of this shit. Call the ambulance. And this is the part where everybody remembers yesterday, where everyone was on hold, because what the schools would do, what I assume every school does, is that they place a hold for for example, let's say my case, they called the ambulance. They placed a hold so that way nobody would trample me over, because trust me, the students of Socorro High School do not give a shit if you're like being carried in an ambulance. They will shove your ass. And so they placed a hold. It's like, hey, everybody stay in your classrooms. I got carried away in the ambulance, and then they told me, okay, hey, we're gonna put an IV in you. I'm like, okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He's like, it's a good thing, but we're gonna put a needle in you. I'm like, hey, and then I went to the hospital, and then yeah, I only remember bits and fragments of it, but all I know is I would only become conscious as if someone was talking to me. So I'd be asleep, and then they were talking to me. It's like, all right, hey, so what happened? I'm actually gonna explain what happened. What happened is that the pills that I took, they were way too strong for me, and a lot of people were confusing it with an overdose, and I did it intentionally, but I didn't. It was just too strong, and so that's what happened. So technically, I was overdosing just lightly. So and then there would be people talking to me, and I would just be like, I would just be slowly falling asleep and shit, and I'd be like, and they'd be like, yeah, what's up? And to be honest, I hate feeling like that. I don't like an IV in me, and yeah, that's the story of how I went to the hospital.